The following podcast may contain spoilers.
Hello, dear listeners. This is Jonathan with the Shredding the Path of Heaven podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host.
I'm Bill.
I'm Richard.
I am Seth.
Getting in that seat.
Yeah, I am the fourth guy. Of the
guy.
guys, I'm the fourth one. There goes Kenny, and then there goes a Bill, and then there goes a Richard, and then there goes a Seth now.
Hey, Seth, I think we need to talk about your inclusion as being a host. When was the last time you read something?
Yeah, Seth, we have a minimum requirement. Like
That wasn't discussed.
I mean,
You're
well, we want to
imposing
move on to
rules
season
on me.
3, but like you need to have read at least one more book before we do. Like
We can't
it's the
move on
last
to
wall
a new
in our
season.
cultivation breakthrough.
All right, when we move on to a new season, I will be we'll have a rotation, and I'll do every fourth book.
oh shit.
Okay, season 3 starts next episode. Cool.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, it is.
We've only done like 4 episodes of season 2.
Ah, we've
Let's
done
not
more
fuck
than that.
around with this.
All right, now that we're done with that. What are we talking about today, guys?
We're talking about a book that I'm very, very excited to talk about because I've had to beg people in my house to read this book.
What he really means is he's cancer and he got me into F5 hell
Mm-hmm.
because, guys, the book today is Overgeared and it is it's the easiest book to read I've read since Soul Station Necromancer. Easiest book to read. You just keep eating it like popcorn, and then eventually it runs out, and you feel empty inside.
Yeah, no, that accurately described my experience with Overgeared, except that popcorn bowl was a lot shallower for me than it was for you two.
Yeah. No, it's a fun read. It's getting up to 1,000 now. Almost there.
Yeah, I think Chapter 1000 will probably be released tomorrow, I believe.
I will probably read it as soon as it comes out, as I F5 when I'm at home, or when I'm at work, or when I'm on break, or
I will probably catch up right as it releases, / probably around like 1,002.
But this is a fantastic book. This is a Korean novel.
It's one of them. It's one of them virtual reality video game Korean novels.
Yeah, this is one that's in the vein of people that live on real Earth at some point in the future, where there is Sword Art Online-esque capsules that you go into.
Those pod VR.
Where you go into another world and you experience all your senses in that world. And it's almost as real as reality, except, there's a HUD overlay and you have levels and there's dragons and goblins and wizards and shit.
Oh my.
But they keep it so real, though. They keep it so real with the technology of these capsules. Like they have to like monitor people's stuff in case to stop them from playing for too long, because it can alter your perception of reality. Because it's that real.
Yeah, they dull down sensations to like a 7th or whatever, but you still get hurt. You still quote unquote die. So those are things you have to watch out for, so you don't die to rabbits.
No, don't tell
Wait.
me about rabbits.
Yeah, who dies to rabbits? Let's talk about that.
Our main character, because our main character, unlike almost every main character we've talked about on our show, sucks.
He is terrible at this game. This virtual reality this is basically like WoW on crack, or like Guild Wars 1 pod VR taken to the extreme.
With a little bit of Anarchy Online thrown onto it with the way stats work.
Yeah. Have we actually talked about Legendary Moonlight Sculptor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. If you listen to that episode, this book feels a lot like Legendary Moonlight Sculptor. When I say that, it has very much the same framework. It's about a person in Korea that goes into a game, gets a class that's not a fighting type class, and uses the skills he learns in the game to improve both his life in the game and outside of the game.
I got a novel updates for you.
Yeah, hit me.
As Shin Young Woo has had an unfortunate life and is now stuck carrying bricks on construction sites. He even has to do labor in the VR game, Satisfy. However, luck would soon enter his hopeless life. His character, Grid, would discover the Northern End Cave for a quest, and in that place, he would find Pagma's rare book and become a legendary class player.
Hell yeah! Is this a completed book? Or
It is
No.
not. It is a pair. It was author is Park Sainal. I hope I pronounced that properly. It is ongoing, and it says it started in the year 2015.
Where does this book originate?
Korea.
It is
Okay.
indeed a Korean novel.
The park gives it away.
It should have. It should have given it away. Yes.
Yeah, this book is very reminiscent of Praise the Orc, in my eyes. Like very like guy goes in, guy experiences life and becomes a better person in this alternate reality of a video game.
Yeah, it's very much, it feels very much like the main, like, take away the talent of the main character in Praise the Orc, put him in Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, and I feel you have this story.
Yes, very much so.
Like, the thing that is so beautiful about this story is that because the main character sucks at the beginning, and when we say sucks, like, he doesn't have a good personality. He's greedy. He's spiteful. He's vengeful. He is easy to hate. He's distrustful.
He's ugly.
He's literally ugly because he doesn't take care of himself.
He's
So
also just ugly.
He's well. I was gonna say he's not just unkempt. You said he's ugly. He's
Yeah,
like
well,
he's facially gross.
He's not ugly. He just looks like shit.
All right.
Like he looks like it's like anybody can look bad. You can take the prettiest person on night and have them live 5 years depressed and not taking showers, like taking a shower maybe once every 4 days if he's lucky, and
the problem
not
is
dressing well with greasy hair and
So like your
He's like-
average Smash player.
that too.
well,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
super duper in debt because you can't have a video game book without him being in super duper debt.
Yeah, he's in debt because he spent all of his money to buy the capsule, and he sucks at the game
And he bought a bad capsule.
I was
by
gonna
the
say,
way.
how much of the capsules did he get a
Yeah,
knockoff?
expensive.
a lot, and so it also the fee to play Satisfy is expensive.
Because Satisfy, 2 billion people played Satisfy, and it has one of those economies that go into the game and out of the game. So like your goal can transition into money.
Yeah, it's very
vice
Eve
versa.
online.
Okay.
And-
Yeah, the economy is very Eve.
Yeah. Okay. I
but
like
like
that.
this is straight up
So
just
they're
like
they're professional game players in that they just
Absolutely.
do stuff in the game.
they're called rankers.
Yep.
Okay. Wait. So it's not just. I mean, it's like modern games. There are people that follow other people. There's like a media culture around it too.
There's
Yep,
a media culture and there's an idol culture around people who are really good at the game, because being really good at the game is hard because of it being VR. When you're really good at the game, you're really good at other stuff.
So
Because
it's
the skills you learn in game, the muscle memory translates into real life.
like if everyone was a high level StarCraft player.
Yes, and very distinctly so, because they harken back to how Korea used to be the epicenter of online gaming.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
Which is very true.
This is like
Yeah, no, it's very like it. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a very nationalistic book. It
Yeah,
loves
it is, but at the same time, it's also like nationalistic for other nations. Like,
Exact. No, that's what I mean. By pigeonholing everybody into their own nation, like Chinese people are Chinese people. Like, sure, there are a couple good Chinese people looking at you, how, but like for the most part, Chinese people are kind of dicks.
because
they keep getting shit on too, though.
the Chinese netizens are dicks. Even the Korean netizens, because this game will also give you the stream chats.
Oh yeah, no, people talking mad shit all the time.
Yeah, when it cuts to like people just being like, lol, grid sucks so hard. Lol, this pet's so cute though.
Oh yeah.
But like this takes place in like our world, but like 200, like 150, 200 years from now.
Okay.
And he's like a typical late 20s Korean male, except he sucks more in that he went to university, he went to kind of a shitty university.
He went to university, but he didn't go to class because he just played Satisfy because he's like, I'm going to win this. But here's the thing.
He served in the military.
Like,
Okay.
shitty people who just kind of like read stuff online are like fucking like, who started playing like a month ago or level 100. He's like been playing since it started and he's like level like 70 something.
70 or 80 whenever
Because he keeps dying and losing experience and he sucks. And no one parties with him because he sucks.
Oh yeah, and when you die, you not only lose experience, but you drop items occasionally. And he has like terrible luck, so he's always losing shit.
I see.
Yeah. But
Every time you get a sword, you lose it kind of deal?
But we picked up on this when his luck is about to turn around. Because as Bill was describing in the novel updates,
The
he
North
finds-
End's cave.
he is at the end of a quest he has been struggling with for a long time. Where he finds a book.
Pagma's rare book.
And his whole quest line is to bring it to this guy. He gives it to the guy, and then he'll get like this rare reward, and it'll be his like stepping stone to actually start making real money in the game.
Sure.
But then he realizes when he sees the book, it's like it unlocks. What does it say?
I don't remember if it unlocks a legendary class or if it like it basically
He's given the option of returning it to the guy who gave him the quest or using it to create a legendary class. They become the legendary Pagma's descendant. But because our main character sucks, he goes, I could just pocket it and then go sell it for a lot of money.
Sure.
So he's like, I'm just not going to decide, and then he pockets it, and the guy's like, oh, so you've decided not to give it to me? Then die.
and to be perfectly honest, the NPCs, real people, or at the very least, I'm perfectly sure that this is an alternate reality. So these are like people.
I'm
Yeah,
not
this is
sure
a
of that,
fleshed
but
out
we'll
game.
see.
Well, I mean, like it's the world's greatest supercomputer, and these are real learning AI.
Yeah, at the very least, that's how it's framed, I guess is it. Nevertheless, they are very much. They react like people. They think
yeah,
they will.
yeah.
All of them are unique. They have their own desires and wants. If they die, they're not in the world anymore. They age.
That's
Yeah.
wild. Okay.
But the
Yeah.
players are constant because they're immortal. And the game world moves 3 times faster than the real world. So 2 years for us is what?
6 years there.
6 years for them.
Okay.
So that means like,
I like that because you can have seasonal festivals a lot.
but that also means if you fall in love in the game with an NPC or you have a kid with an NPC, because this exists, they're getting older and you're staying the same age.
Shit,
if
man.
you befriend someone and it's like an older guy and
Can you intentionally age yourself? Is there anyone that's tried that?
Not yet. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Most 90% of the population treats NPCs like, video
We're
game
still
pixels.
relatively early on in this game's lifetime, it feels. Even where we're at in the book now.
Okay.
like the dream, like the guy who made
How
it was
many-
what, Lim Chul Ho.
Chill hole ho or whatever. Yeah.
He's like a great scientist. He did all this other stuff, but he wanted to create another world. The NPCs in there are his children. He wants more people to grow up in his game because he feels his game is another world.
And the Satisfy Administration group, I think that's the SA group. I don't.
Yeah.
They might stand for whatever. The SA group, you get to see them a lot, like the people who running the show.
Yeah, like there's a lot of shots of just like the DevOps team being like, this motherfucker is fucking with our game again.
Incredible.
There are no bugs in Satisfy, so like it's not that he's breaking the game; it's that he is gaming the system so hard that they're losing things that they thought they were gonna have.
Yeah, like he keeps like erasing events because he keeps destroying the possibilities, but he keeps birthing new ones because that's how the game works. But it's really cool. Regardless, Pagma's descendant, let's talk about that because it is
Yes.
really the core of
Truly.
this whole story.
Truly, Pagma's descendant is where everything is.
Pagma was a legendary blacksmith. The greatest blacksmith, as far as we're aware at this point.
One
Sure.
of the 7 legendary classes
Yeah, one of
ish.
Was it 7 or 9?
No, the 7 known, like the 7 known
7
legends.
known legendary. Yeah, 7 legends that we know. Yeah.
But yeah, so he's there's the sword saint, and he was like, oh yeah, what legendary class is this? Blacksmith. You are a production class.
He's like, I have to do labor? Fuck!
Yeah, he's also pretty vulgar. We talked about the last guy in 9-star Hegemon Body Art being vulgar. This guy's also curses all the time.
Yeah, 9-star Hegemon Body Art's vulgar because he does it to be domineering. This guy does it because he's petty. And he feels like he deserves more and has a complete victim's mentality about everything.
So he just goes for the easy jabs, the cursing jabs.
He's not even like really insulting people because he sucks and he's too much of a coward to do that. It's more like, say we are in a group and I actually help you for once. He's going to master loot. He's going to take everything. He's going to offer you nothing. And then if you say anything, he's going to think you're trying to take something from him because he's that petty.
Yeah, he trusts no one.
Yeah. Well, at least at the beginning of the book, and that's what's one of my favorite things is that he grows so much over the course of the story.
I do
and
like
has
good
continued
character
to.
growth.
Because he, unlike all the other stories like this story, he does not start as a perfect human being. That just is crippled by debt or, well, I mean, Praise the Orc was different, but Praise the Orc is a beautiful, wonderful thing that you should read.
He's not Weed, where like Weed outside of the debt is actually just awesome.
He's the person that needs to grow and hasn't had the chance to because he's kind of been down on his luck. Even though a lot of it is his own fault, it's still been a hard life.
Sure. Like what kind of shit did he do to deserve this?
I mean, he just made bad choices and he isn't competent enough to back them up.
He's like an average Korean. He has decent parents, a decent family. Like I said, he went to college. He served in the military. He got out of the military, immediately put himself in debt to play Satisfy. He makes bad decisions. He doesn't have a lot of confidence because he was kind of picked on a little bit in school for being super average and being a coward.
Oh no, definitely that is where all of his self-confidence is gone, is that like he has no quote unquote friends from high school. He is the butt of everyone's joke.
So he gets this legendary class and he's like, well, fuck, I guess if this is what I've got, I got to make use of it because like otherwise I wasted all my fucking effort. Because when he takes this legendary class, he goes to level 1.
But all of that all that effort he put into going to level 70.
Is it like standard fucking condensation level 1, or is it like no, he actually got resetted.
Wow.
He got resetted.
10 in all stats.
Resetted. Oh no.
Yeah. And then some more shit happens to him, but I won't get into that.
Oh man, but that was such a good story.
It was.
Doran.
Doran is more important than you realize in the beginning. People reading, like everything that happens in this novel matters.
Usually, yeah. And almost every time in this novel where I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if they did this thing. They do that thing, or they do a cooler thing that I wasn't expecting.
I love
that. It takes the concept of playing a game to another level because the game itself is so free. So like so many options are available to him. Like he becomes the legendary blacksmith. So like he gets an ability called item creation where he can just decide to make an item.
Yeah, he just makes a blueprint for an item and it becomes a real item that could exist in the game.
But like it what kind of limits does it have?
None.
As long as it can theoretically exist, you can make it. In fact, because the supercomputer Morpheus is helping you do it, the better you are at understanding mechanics of physics, the way things work, it will use all of the vast information, vast knowledge created by humanity to help you realize your design if you do it and explain it well enough.
And conversely, if you aren't good at explaining, it will sort of help you out by like clunkily putting things together. So like it'll do exactly what you want and it'll go above and beyond your expectations, but the price will be weird.
Yeah, so he made a really good sword. It's like shaped like a shark. He used to use a great sword as a warrior, so that's what he wants to make for himself. It's a really awesome sword, has incredible stats. Only issue is he made it out of an incredibly rare and powerful material that he has no way to get access to at the moment.
15 of it. It's not even like, oh, he needs 2 of it. No, he needs like a goddamn 15 where 2 or 3 might drop
it's
in a
the
ring.
So when
rare-
it comes to name the item, he names it failure.
Wait, does I gotta know where we are in the book? Has he created failure?
He
yet?
Oh, he
created
created failure a long time
He's
ago.
exceeded failure.
Delightful.
He gave failure to someone else.
Incredible.
Failure is like
That
the
doesn't
base.
seem like a
for-
great thing to do.
No,
There
no,
was a
no.
point
You
in
don't
time where
understand.
That
No,
seems
it's
like
beautiful.
a bad omen at
No,
minimum.
it is
No,
a
it's
great
an
idea.
incredible weapon.
They showed it off at one point, like where they showed the item stats, and everybody's like, that's his failure? What's a success?
That's the thing. Every bad thing that happens to Grid in some way will eventually contribute to his success. Whether it's by teaching him a lesson that's necessary, by creating a weird misconception in someone's head that colors the way they see him for the rest of the story.
By giving him a strange secondary stat out of nowhere for no reason, but because they can.
Yeah, but the thing that I love about Grid is that he loves NPCs because of one NPC in particular.
Mm.
Come
Cuddle.
on.
Con!
God.
Con. No, I had to say it too. Seems like I needed to say it.
He is the blacksmith at the village near where Grid emerges after his legendary blacksmith class that he acquires. And so he wants to learn how to use the blacksmith. So he goes to this guy. He's like a drunk guy. He's not blacksmithing.
His wife and kid died, so he was just like, everything he was working for is just kind of been taken away from him.
But Grid can see the items that he's made, and he's like, this guy's a master. I'm going to get him to teach me. And so he's like, teach me how to do this thing. And he's like, you suck. All right, well, fine. Like, do this thing and then this other thing. And like, Grid walks over and he like, the game like shows him like, all right, put your hand here, pump it in this way. And he's like, okay, so I do this. And he just does it. And the guy's like, huh? What? How are you doing that so perfectly? I've never seen such wonderful, graceful.
Incredible.
Like
So he's just immediately perfect at everything.
Kind of.
Everything like weapon related or like
He is a master.
smithing related.
He is a master level blacksmith from the game.
So that's weapons and armor and like items.
anything that can be made at a blacksmith,
Pretty
he
much
can make it.
Anything but like jewelry-esque accessories.
Okay.
Or clothes, because he can't make like a shirt because it'll.
But he
burn
can
up.
make a cloak.
But he
That's
could
armor.
Could he make like a bracer?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If it has
Cool.
metal in it.
Cool. Sorry, I just
So-
like to know specific limits of people's powers.
So basically, this guy sees him, this Khan sees him, and because, like, as we've described, NPCs are real and have their own emotions and memories and feelings and desires, and, like, affection towards players, Khan treats him with respect and, like, sees him.
Sees that he's a super hard worker. Sees that, yes, he looks kind of shabby, and yes, he's a little mean to the things he says, but he's pretty genuine, and he's not a bad, like, you can see he's not a bad guy, right?
Now, at this point, just to color the scene, this town is taken over by this company, the Marrow Company. They're
marrow like bone marrow.
MERO.
MERO.
Okay.
And they're just a merchant company. They're just trying to edge everybody out, own the place, think Joja Corp style.
And he's the last guy that's not leaving because this is his blacksmith that his father ran, and his memories of his family are here, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So this one guy named Rabbit is second in command of the Marrow Company, is tasked with getting Khan to sell. These jerks show up, these thugs show up, try to like rough him up, and is Grid at this point armed enough to beat them up?
No, not at all.
Oh, not armed enough to beat them.
He's barely armed, honestly.
But he does have one thing that can beat them, and that's Khan's trusty hammer and his ability to make items. Because Marrow challenges Khan to a blacksmithing competition.
Nah.
No, that is right.
And they have gathered one of the coolest fucking characters in the book,
Oh, dude. Okay.
Euphemia.
my favorite thing about Satisfy is the hidden classes, especially like the 2 or 3 you first get right out the gate. Fucking Duplicator.
Duplicator. If she spends time studying someone's skill, she can use the skill once at their skill level. And she can just hold on to any number of these skills at a time.
And she can cast them without cast time.
Instantaneous cast time on these.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, she is theoretically one of the strongest people in the game.
She's it's literally took a blue mage without the downside of being a blue mage. It's amazing.
It's Hunter x Hunter Lucifer, but he loses the stuff.
It's so good.
So there's just like a bunch of really cool classes. There's Heroi, the orator.
Oh god, orator.
That can just diss people and give them debuffs.
Spiteful tongue.
No, even better. They're just better at talking to NPCs and getting better rewards out of it.
Yeah, he learns from he sees Heroi talking an NPC, and he like butters up the NPC, and then he gets a better quest because of it. And Grid's like, oh, and he learns that better than anyone in the fucking game.
Like he fucking exploits NPCs.
He does and he doesn't. He does exploit them in the sense that he like tries to butter up to them, but he doesn't learn I need to butter up to them to get better stuff. He's like, oh, if you become friends with NPCs, they'll give you better stuff. So he just endeavors to make legitimate relationships with NPCs.
So
He
he's
treats them like people.
I was gonna say he's like not an NPC racist.
Because he's too stupid to realize that he should be exploiting them. Because that's faster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But he doesn't do things the fast way because he doesn't see the efficient path because he doesn't have anyone to show him the way, and he's a little dumb.
Nah,
Honestly, though,
I like a little dumb. That sounds fun.
It's like
He's
a
really
good
lovable.
thing. It's a good thing that he does that though, because by treating doing it the dumb way and earning true relationships, it unlocks. That's the thing about Satisfy, right? Because there's so many people playing it, and there's hundreds of classes, and there's hundreds of interactions, and everyone's experience is unique to them. That means like if an option appears itself, or if you treat someone, you do something enough, the game will find a way to reward you or punish you for it.
Yeah, basically, Morpheus the supercomputer itself has an interest in its NPCs being developed. So as you do things to increase your affection with NPCs, it'll basically just create quests and or quest lines or tie your existing quests to NPCs you're interacting with. If you like max out their affection or meet certain requirements that it finds interesting. Or if it just like, it's kind of implied that the game itself finds Grid interesting, and that's why a lot of things happen to him.
I mean, it sounds like they programmed the game to make interesting things, and so it, I guess, would find interest in things. Sure.
Here's the thing: it's like not even like specific to him, because when you get the point of views of other the miracle players or other high rankers, each ranker is a main character in of itself. Like the world is doing stuff. It's just there's characters like Kroggle or
Kroggle is the
great
number 1 ranked.
He's the
Swordsman.
sky above the sky. He's the person that the geniuses look up to as a genius.
I see.
Jesus, like they love that line. They fucking like that is the line that they just
Who's they?
glued
This
to.
they.
The book.
The ephemeral they.
Okay, I was gonna say this
Everyone.
book or just Korean novels in general.
nah.
This book and everyone in it.
I see.
Every single time you hear word of Kroggle, there that will be said.
I see.
Nah, man, like we haven't really talked about what this book is even named. Overgeared. Like we haven't talked about the power of items.
So yeah,
Well, that's
like
the whole
why
point.
is he overgeared?
Yeah, overgeared is the translation that the translator has decided for basically a Korean term meaning item effect. And like the general idea is that it's a term people use derogatorily towards people that just have gear that's too good and they suck at the game.
Sure.
Which is why this is
Like
the overgear. Like
they're walking around slamming down shit, and there's no actual skill behind
I mean,
it.
like, think about it. You played MMOs.
Yeah.
You've been in situations where you overgeared the content so you cruise control through it.
Sure.
Yeah. You had no talent. There was no skill involved in beating this.
Slam,
outgeared
bit,
it.
bam, just knock everything out.
Yeah.
So
Power of items.
what's broken about Grid is that he can make better items, and at this point, like I said, this is still very early in the game's like lifetime. So he makes like legendary or like unique ranked items, and like those basically don't exist, or like a player has one and they spent like 7 to 8 months of the like 2 or 3 years this game's been out acquiring it. But like he's made like multiple ones for
Yeah, he
himself.
just shits them out. Yeah.
Well, you say that.
Not shits him out. He has terrible luck. He can't make legendary items to save his life.
But like when he makes his first legendary item, the best players in the game are like using epics and uniques.
Yeah, like legendary items is like for like maybe the top 8 people.
Like
Have a legendary item, and even those are like, do they have a legendary item, or do they just say they have a legendary
So
item?
does he fall quickly to the top one?
No,
Top
it's
no, he
absolutely just level number.
Leveling is hard, and the ranking number is absolutely just who is the highest level.
I see.
And he got his level reset to 1.
Yeah, so he's like, and the top rankers at the point where he's level 72 are like hitting or about to hit 200s.
yeah.
Wait, so how is he? He's at 72 now?
No, he's at 1.
What, right now he's at 1?
Oh no, now he's much higher than that, but I don't want to spoil how the games progress. So.
Yeah, okay.
I won't.
That's fair. I was just like, I was curious as to like.
I will say at some point he caught up and is in the pack.
Like,
okay.
okay, like to put you in the perspective of where we are, like where they are, where he's level 1 is like the game's been out like what 8, 9 months.
Okay,
I thought it
and
was
then where
almost a
are
year.
we currently
Was it
where
almost
you
a
guys
year?
are caught
I
up
don't.
to?
Like,
I think
it
it was almost a year.
Almost a year. Where we are in the story, at the end at like 990 something.
Yeah, where you guys are caught up to.
What has it been, like 5 years? 4 years?
5 to
Okay.
6,
Yeah,
I would
5
say.
to 6 since that.
Ooh, that's a lot of in-game years. You got a
Yeah.
lot of shit going on.
Oh yeah, no. Definitely you've seen the effects of time on the setting and on people around them.
No, time has passed, and a lot earlier than time usually passes in a Korean novel. It feels like this one moves along at a clip. Things are always interesting. Like there's always something new around the book. Like he was saying, it's really hard to put this one down. It feels like popcorn. Like it's so cool, and the execution is so good all the time. It's so consistently good.
People misunderstand so hard.
And in the best and most funny ways.
You love everyone in it too. Like
it's a chuckle fest.
Even the bad characters are lovable, understandable.
Sometimes bad characters come back as good characters.
That's fun.
Like they do a lot of third-person omniscient point of view, so you see the evil characters that you're antagonizing against talking with other characters, and you realize either you misunderstood them or they're just trying to they're just the main character in their own book. Like they're not evil, they're just trying to win.
Good old Suron from Argentina.
everyone is connected, by the way. Like every like almost like the city of Durara, the world of Satisfy, the gears are all turning.
Well, yeah, it sounds
And
like it's an
affecting-
MMO, right? So like everybody's playing on the same server.
It's an MMO. Everyone's playing on the same server with a world the size of the world with billions of people.
And Universal Translator.
So when
That's fucking
so
awesome.
if I'm speaking Spanish and you're Korean, you hear me in Korean, I hear you in Spanish.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. I want that. That's possible right now.
Good old Babelfish.
Yeah.
But no, like we didn't actually finish the story. So the duplicator is brought in, and they start having the item fight, because this is the item fight right at the beginning, just to lay it down. And Grid starts making the item, and Euphemia's like, "All right, cool. I'll just copy his skills." You cannot copy his skills.
What? I can't, because it's legendary skill, and she's a unique class, so she can't copy legendary class skills. So she's like, well, I've never had this happen, but whatever, it's fine. I studied the blacksmithing skill of the highest ranked blacksmith in the game, so I'll just use that instead, and it'll be an easy win.
Panmir. By the way, he's important to the story too.
Yeah, Panmir, the top ranked blacksmith, also an important character in the story. He goes to train with the dwarves. He's awesome.
That sounds fantastic. Is Panmir the name the dwarves gave him? Because that sounds like a
Nah.
dwarf name.
He chose that name. He chose that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's an American. Oh, and that's another thing. Like all of these nationality players, like that you see across nationalities. You see them interact in the game, but then you get to see them pop out of the game and interact in the Satisfy Olympics.
Yeah, no, the Satisfy there's like straight up like they hold an Olympics in game. Is it every 3 years or
In game every 3 years, out of game every year.
but it's like it's in game competitions with the characters where they like duplicate all your items. It's like a separate server. So they duplicate all your items and stats and everything in this new server. You log in, everyone's using the same capsule. Like it's a separate thing. They fly everyone into like a country where everyone comes in and like logs in together.
That sounds fucking awesome.
It has
and then there's a bunch of like events where people compete for gold, silver, and bronze.
They get sponsorships and they try to like the companies want them to say it and like say their thing and advertise their thing for money. That's great.
And like 1/3 of the population of the fucking planet fucking plays the game, and more people watch it.
Oh yeah, no. This gets more views than the Olympics, the Super Bowl, and the
World Cup
all combined.
My God.
Because it's the best people in the game doing the coolest possible shit.
I do love Korean books, how they hype up the Korean made the best thing in the world and it's a video game trope.
Yeah, but none of the like the cool thing is none of the Koreans are actually good at the game.
Yeah, Korea has very few high-ranking characters.
It's a Korean game that Koreans aren't good at.
Yeah,
they're decent.
America, fuck yeah.
But
and Satisfy.
America's
Fuck
number
yeah.
one. Fucking Russia's good just because Kraugel lives there.
Yeah.
And that's enough.
God. There's always the China shit talkers, the Japanese shit talkers,
Oh man, yo.
China always brings a legitimate team to the group and gets shit on for reasons outside of their control. Usually the fact that grid exists.
Yeah, no.
Like
grid
the
becomes a problem.
the battle between the Asian countries and like the shit they talk, because there's one character I love. I love this character so much. Big Sword loves
Do you know
Korea.
God Grid?
Do you know Kimchi?
Hey.
He doesn't know English well. He just knows how to say, "Do you know X?"
Is that all the English he knows? We don't know. Maybe. He might know more, but all he wants to say is, do you know God Grid?
Do you know God Grit?
Do you know Kimchi?
Do you know Kimchi?
Do you know Dark Ball?
Like he goes to Japan and he sees that they serve. So they go to Japan and he sees that they serve at a Japanese restaurant. They serve kimchi at a Japanese restaurant as a side dish you need to pay for, and he is blown away. He's like, Japan appreciates Korean culinary prowess.
Oh, I thought he was going to be mad that he had to pay like extra for kimchi.
Oh,
No, this is the
he's
guy that goes to Paris and he's like, I will make kimchi stew in front of the Eiffel Tower.
He is the leader of the Korean National Patriotic Association.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But like his mind is blown that people pay for kimchi, something he gets for free as a side when he eats in Korea. And someone goes, but it's Japan. They charge for all their sides. And he just chooses to ignore that statement because that's how much he elevates Korean culinary prowess.
Yeah, no, the nationalism on all sides is just delectable, especially around world competition time.
Yeah, no, but this story is just like, it's coolness layered on top of coolness, and it just like keeps going farther than you expect it to. Case in point, the opening scene, the very first chapter of the book, is a sort of in media race story about Peak Sword, the guy we were just talking about, do you know Kimchi?
Yeah.
Going to finally fight this boss that they've prepared for a long time. They've studied the patterns. They know how to fight him. They know how to dodge all of his attacks. This time they think they finally have a shot at beating him. They go in to fight him. It starts. Hell Gao, the demon summons. They start fighting. It's a bitter fight. And this guy just like walks in and walks over to a pile of minerals and just starts like hitting it with a pickaxe. And they're like, yo, what are you doing? It's super dangerous and you can't be here. This is our guild's area. And he's like, oh, don't mind me. These minerals only appear when he's summoned, so I'm just going to be mining. Don't worry about me. And so Helgao's like, what the puny mineral? How dare you do that? And he starts attacking him. And Grid, like, the guy just has like this golden dragon tail that just starts like fighting off the demon's attacks as he's mining. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Who is this character? And then we jump to the other story we've been telling. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm sorry. Let me finish that. Peak Sword's like, how are you so strong? And he's like, I'm not strong. This is just the power of items.
Incredible. Well, yeah, that's the point of the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it switches to the
story we got, right?
Yeah.
And we're telling, right? And you think like, oh man, I can't wait till we get to that part of the story. It's going to be so far. It's not far into the story.
At all.
It's like maybe 200 to 300 chapters.
It's a little less than that.
My God.
Like, it's crazy how early that is. Like, you expect that to be an end game or like you read a thing like that in Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, you're like, oh, that's going to be a great thing I see in book 38.
Sure.
Like, that's how you feel about this. And that's how, like, I love the pacing
It's
of this
compressed,
novel.
is what you're saying.
It's not.
It's not compressed.
It's not
at all.
compressed. Like, it's not, they're not rushing things. Everything is perfectly paced.
Everything is slow. Oh, everything is metered, but the pacing is great. But you feel time flow by, and you feel the growth of all of the characters.
They'll start a thing and like that you're like, that's gonna, I don't know when that's gonna be a thing, but it'll be big, and then you'll forget about it. Like, events will happen, and like 6 months have passed in the game, and then it becomes a relevant thing, and you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. They've been spending this entire time corrupting these villages.
There's a part in the story where he becomes like, starts running a city, and like, it's still awesome. There's a part, like, there's legit politics happening. There's one character, Lau.
Yeah.
Lau, he's an American. He initially follows God Grid, because he thinks God Grid's an idiot, but he makes great items and he wants an item.
Yeah, he's just gonna abuse this idiot because he's got an overpowered item making ability, so he's gonna be friends with him to get good items.
That's smart of him.
It is.
Yeah.
Because Lau's a very smart character.
Yeah.
Too smart.
But then he starts realizing, I way undervalued how good this person. I'm going to make this my entire Satisfy career.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
I'm going to make this man a king.
So
I'm going to make this man's entire career.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is exactly what he thinks.
100% what he does.
And Lau, it's beautiful because like everyone in this story is so good. Like all of the characters that are on the side of Grid are like legitimately good people. Or if they're not good people, they're like fun, not good people. They're rascals.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I like a good rascal.
Well, he's also surrounded by competent people, or at the very least competent in their own field.
No,
and these people are so
competent.
Grid is like, he doesn't understand the value of what he gives. So he just like, to his friends, he gives away things because he's so happy to have friends. So like, these people get these items and it so drastically changes the way they play the game that they like are so grateful to him that they want to raise him up too. So as he improves their game by giving them broken items, they improve him and his game by giving him respect and showing him how competent people act and how they treat each other, and like being given the opportunity to give respect back. And like he grows as a person by meeting and interacting with both NPCs and real people in this story.
Oh, that's cool.
I do also want to say dexterity is a stat, and as his dexterity gets higher, and as he like does work in game, his physical dexterity outside of the game gets higher.
Oh.
And there is a function of his life where he just has naturally rapey fingers.
No,
I was gonna
it's
say
not rapey
that's
fingers.
gross.
It's
Pleasure
magic
fingers.
hands. Okay.
Yeah, his hands, he's just so
He's got
dexterous.
the magic touch.
He can make his hands move in the perfect ways to please anyone. So like he'll just like touch people and they'll be like, oh.
It's done on purpose too. Like I will casually glance past your hand and give you a micro orgasm on mistake.
Please don't do that.
That's just what he does, and then
He uses it to like make his way through crowds.
he definitely weaponizes it, and it's tragic. And Peak Sword is the butt of the joke most of the time for that.
but it's cool because it's Peak's sword, and he'll do that. He'll just take it.
Oh, we'll
But,
take
like,
a bullet for him.
There are at least 20 characters I want to talk about right now that we haven't even mentioned their name. Like, we haven't talked about Jashuka. We haven't talked about
Pawn. We haven't talked about Regis. We haven't talked about Vantner.
Toon.
We haven't talked about Toon. We haven't talked about Tobin.
We haven't talked about Agnes. We haven't talked about Ares.
Oh God, we haven't talked about Agnes.
We haven't talked about
Okay, wait.
Varidan.
That's a segment at the end. Stop that.
Damien.
No, it's not. We're not even draining from that part. That's what I'm saying. Like, this book is built on A, the incredible world it's building because it's so cool. B, the characters, because as Richard has said, every single one of them is likable and important. They don't establish a character that doesn't come back later because this isn't a game about static people.
Yeah.
C, about items, because he makes so many ridiculous items and he comes into contact with so many ridiculous functions. And he's just like, well, what new wacky thing can I build?
But because of like his encounter with Heroi and like the situation of the stuff he learns with Khan, it allows him to weaponize his ability to befriend and gain the respect of NPCs and play politics thanks to Lao. So like he also acquires the world's strongest subordinates. Can I talk about my man Piaro for a second?
We have to. It is literally imperative that we discuss Piaro before we finish this podcast.
Do it now.
And can I say that Overgeared Nights, whenever this story is finished and we have the ability to record a Nights about it, there's going to be like a 15 to 20 minute segment section just about fucking Piaro.
Just about him.
I don't think you understand. Overgeared Nights will have to have like multiple volumes. It'll be like 4 episodes of us talking about movements.
We're going to have one that talks about Grid. We're going to have one that talks about the Overgeared Guild. We're going to have one that talks about
some shit you haven't even read about yet.
There's going to be a 4-hour episode about how Lord's the actual main character by the time the story is done.
I really hope that's the case. It would be my greatest pleasure if the entire point of this story was to give Lord a place to stand.
Yeah, no, this is all backstory.
And the author is incredibly fond of the phrase, and this was the moment when...
Oh, no, he is an absolute Waz. It is, from Kamen Rider CEO, he is Waz to the T. He's rejoice! This was when the Overgeared Guild was established.
Yeah, Lao is, as we were kind of talking about earlier, is like kind of the darkness of the Overgeared Guild. He's the person that's willing to like do the shit that needs to get done and manipulate people in the shadows.
He's the brain.
But he's also a tuning. But we aren't talking about him. We got to talk about
Sorry,
Piaro.
I just had to actually do that. But yeah, Piaro. Piaro is a disgraced Red Knight. One of the former master swordsmen and potentially the greatest swordsman on the continent.
Okay. An NPC?
An NPC.
Okay.
And Grid, because he has good NPC skills, sees that he's an incredible NPC. And using his Grid magic, finds a way to recruit him after trials and tribulations and lots of things happen.
He is the guy closest to being the Sword Saint at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, NPCs can totally claim the legendary classes.
Oh,
They
shit.
can create more legendary classes.
I will say that would be a great place to put that. He ends up being one of those when he forsakes being a Sword Saint to become the legendary farmer.
Incredible.
It's
I don't want to spoil it, but honestly,
it's
like
so glorious.
the journey is so much cooler than the
it's
actual
so
explanation.
glorious.
He drops being a sword saint to become a farmer, and then.
But it
Okay,
was
like
like a
this is
joke.
just a spoiler. It's a straight spoiler. If you really care about spoilers, please stop listening right now.
Skip for like 30 seconds. All right,
Skip
ready?
for like a minute and a half.
All right,
like,
go.
He just fucking. People come to the city to meet Grid, and Piaro sees people that have ability, and they're walking past his fields, and he just walks out and he's like, "Fight me!" And they're like, "What? You're a farmer?" And he's like, "Fight me!" And he's like, and they're like, "Fine." And then he kicks their ass because he's a legendary farmer and one of the best people in the goddamn game. Highest level, one of the higher level characters in the game too. And he's made better because Grid has made him items that are specific to farming for him. Also, the rankers come, they fight him, he loses, and he offers them a quest. Come do happy fun training.
Yeah.
Quiz difficulty, class SS.
farming. He is kidnapping people and making them farm for power.
It's incredible. And then all the people that do this are like, wow, this farmer's so strong. If the farmers are this strong, how strong are the soldiers?
Jesus Christ.
So
like he
and
just
then
scares
the Elder
people
Dragon
off by
Zorgnath comes. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Sorry, spoilers.
No,
we went a little bit over there.
You've got a couple more seconds. You got 30 more seconds of spoilers.
No, I'm just joking.
Every farmer, but like, okay, so he trains knights via farming.
Incredible.
That's not even like just hard labor. It's
he
amazing.
just like throws seeds out and is like legendary free farming, and then all of them sprout to attack people.
I'm just gonna say, remember when we said Grid ran a city?
Yeah.
It was a city in a desert. Piaro made it an agricultural city.
All right, spoilers are over now.
Okay,
We
cool.
told people to skip to this point. Hello, people that skipped to this point.
You learn nothing about Piaro. Learn by reading.
Yeah, read the book because it's so good. I swear to God, prove me wrong. If you can put this book down, I'm amazed.
Like the beginning, at first you're like, oh, I don't like this main character, but the story around the main character sells you and makes you keep going, and then you fall in love with literally everyone.
The fact that I want to play this game is what sold me.
Get in like 50 chapters because like it's a slow burn because like as we said, this character is not likable at the beginning because they want to make him likable. It's a really, really good book. Like it feels weird at the beginning, but you'll hit a point, and I won't tell you where that point is, but you'll hit a point, it'll click, and you won't be able to put this book down.
All right, I might even read this one. This one sounds like one that I would like.
Everyone will have a character, their favorite character in this. There's a character for everyone.
Hell
There's
yeah.
there's a recurring joke for everyone. There's something for someone. This has great comedy, but it has great drama. It has great romance. It has great romance.
It has intelligent politics.
It has okay romance.
This is good. That is a good romance tag from Richard. The fucking girl should step back and be plot.
Nah, man. I feel
in Chinese novels.
This is a very I feel a very Japanese romance.
No,
I don't know.
Not
man.
even that.
Well, no, because the
Screw
romance.
that.
We're not
Think
talking about the
about
romance
his-
between X and Y and.
Oh,
No, I'm not
yeah,
talking
that's
about that.
completely. It's very Japanese. Never mind.
There's a real romance
There's
story.
a real
OTP.
OTP. All right, get that shit out of here. Fuck the other stuff. All right, and he like the thing is though, his romance and his experience he gains from the game.
Translates into real life.
Yes, that is the moral of the story.
If he can just get over himself,
He'll never do it. It sounds like
because he has.
This is a very Japanese romance.
but he does get over himself. That's the thing. That's the key about this. Unlike Japanese romance, this character grows.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to read this one.
No, it's a really, really good book. Like I spent so long trying to get my friends to like Bill and Richard to read this, and the second they started to, they both consumed it ravenously. Because it's that good. Richard came over to me and he's like, A, you're a monster because this is going to end. But B, like, how did you not talk me into reading this sooner? Like, how did you not stress how good this book was to me?
And it's not for lack of trying. He tried. He legit tried. But I'm like, oh, I'm reading this right now. But
it's got fucking, like, really good. It gets to the point where you know the skills of this book so well that it starts describing people using skills against each other, and you can accurately build a picture in your head of what you're doing that. Like, very similar to like what we were describing with like King's Avatar, where you learn the game system so well that it translates to in your head. Like, this book has the depth to do that.
when he does a sword dance, one of Pagma's sword dances,
God, we haven't even talked about the sword dance.
You
Of course we
know-
haven't.
We're gonna throw that at the end.
you know the sword dances so well that if I was to explain it, like you build a picture of what his stuff looks like in your head while you're reading it.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. He uses wave into transcend, and then finishes them off with a kill.
You forgot Link.
No, I remembered it. He just didn't need it. He wanted to keep it off cooldown.
Of course.
He didn't have the try.
He wasn't using any of his fusion dances. Don't worry about that.
Oh, I see.
Fusion dance.
Fusion dances.
Oh man, there's something I would love to like I want to talk about after we turn this off with Bill, but Bill hasn't got to it yet.
You don't know that?
He's pretty fucking close. But no, seriously, like I can't tell you how many I've been ravenously having them to tell me the stories as I've been going through it. And I can't tell you how many times Richard's been like, I hope this happens. And I just have to smile and be like, yeah, that'd be great. Knowing that it was about to happen like 20 chapters later.
I'm glad that you were able to read the story so accurately, Richard.
Well, it's not that. It's just, it's well written to foreshadow what you want.
It's one of those, you want something from a character and you don't expect them to give it to you because most books cuck you. And then it goes, nah, fam.
Not cucked by a book? I love not being cucked by books.
All right, guys. Well, I think that'll about wrap it up for us with Overgeared. It is an incredible book, and you should read it.
Quick bit of business. I found a website that lists all our reviews again, and I found a good one. Another that we just couldn't see because it was on a different iTunes, like a different country's iTunes store, so we couldn't have possibly seen it. It was titled, I enjoyed this podcast a lot. I am a fan of web novels for years now. It's good to hear others talk about what I love. Keep it up. Lofu from Austria. So
shout outs to Lofu.
Man,
Thanks, guys.
just all over the place. That's really exciting to hear.
Well, Lofu, if you're listening to this, please go read Overgeared so we can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, come tell us what you think on our Discord.
Reach out to us on on Twitter at TigerCoaster, or you can always send us an email at tiger.rollercoaster@gmail.com. And as of last week, we have our Patreon up, so the link to that is down below. It's got some exclusive content and should be really interesting moving forward. So check that out, and hopefully we can get a little bit more regular and like with that show of support. So yeah.
All right, well,
that brings us to we didn't even get to
Stuff. What didn't we get to?
We literally didn't get into our entire laundry list of characters.
we didn't even get to myth rank items.
Oh boy, we didn't even get to going to Asgard.
We didn't even get to the 7 malignant saints.
We didn't even get to talk about the Pope.
We didn't even get to talk about the Eastern Covenant. But yeah, no, seriously, the Otaku Pope.
The Otaku Pope. Ooh, man. We did, like the fact that Grid saves the church billions of times. Like, we didn't even get to talk about the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th national conventions.
We didn't get to talk about the Great Demons.
We didn't even get to talk about his harem of Yura and Jessica.
We didn't even get to talk about when he declares war on the Guild Immortal.
Oh, God. Yeah. Because of the nasty, terrible things they did during one of the national competitions. We didn't even get to talk about the other legendary classes, like the Sword Saint or the legendary Tailor.
Or the legendary Assassin.
Legendary.
Which, by the way, we didn't even get to talk about Faker.
We
Or
didn't get to talk about
Kasim.
Faker.
Oh, man. We didn't get to talk about all of the empires and kingdoms and the political machinations of them.
We didn't even get to talk about being logged out in 4 seconds.
We didn't talk about Mercedes.
Mercedes.
We didn't even get to talk about the insane dragon chandelier.
Oh, good old Navartan.
That
the
sounds
insane
incredible.
dragon.
We didn't even get to talk about the class Dungeon Maker.
We didn't even get to talk about Noe, the best demon cat of hell.
The best demonic beast of hell.
Incredible.
She is. He
Man,
is.
and
he
we can't.
is.
We're not. How many chapters are we into this book?
1,000.
As of
My
tomorrow, 1,000.
All right.
We didn't even get to talk about Overgeared 1 and 2. Can you become the king of the undead?
We didn't even get to talk about. We didn't even get to talk about Lao's biggest regret.
The time they named the guild Overgeared?
Or the time they named the guild Overgeared.
Or the time they named the guild Overgeared.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week or next time. I'll
We
fucking
will
get used to that
indeed.
eventually.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Tiger Rollercoaster Productions.